guys, welcome to Kidmissing TV. I am your host, Angelina Wilson, and this is the case of Bruce Nelson Campbell from Jacksonville, Illinois. In April of 1959, he stumbled out of his motel room dressed only in a pair of green pajamas and was never seen again. He was a stockbroker from New England. They were traveling, him and his wife. He was 57. Him and his wife, Mabelita, that's a cool name, drove to Illinois from Northampton, Massachusetts. The reason for their visit was meant to be a happy one. They traveled to see their newly born first grandson, son of Bruce Jr., who was an assistant professor of chemistry at McMurray College in Jacksonville. He began feeling sick when they were in the car. The long drive was tough for him. They checked into the Sandman Motel, which is a small family-owned hotel. It was a motor lodge. And his son got a local doctor named Dr. E.C. Bone. I'm not kidding. B-O-N-E, Bone. I mean, what else were you going to do for a living with an anatomical name like that, I suppose? A local physician to see his dad. So he gave him some medication to help him sleep. It didn't seem to work. 2 days passed before Campbell seemed to show some sign of improvement. On April 14th, he visited with his family. Bruce Jr. later recalled that his father was rational but still disorientated. And twice later the night that he visited his family, he asked his wife if their car was locked. They drove a station wagon. She woke up at 2:15 and saw that the other double bed in the room was empty. Her husband was gone. She immediately got out of bed to look for him, and when she didn't find him in the bathroom, she found the door unlatched, no sign of him in the parking lot. The car was still there, doors unlocked, undisturbed, and because he was weak and he was disorientated from whatever was going on with him, his wallet containing all of his money, his shoes, his eyeglasses, and his car keys were all in the motel room. So she quickly called the police. The police searched all over town. There were theories of murder, suicide, and amnesia, which led searchers to creeks, farm buildings, and wells the next day. They even had a fixed-wing aircraft and helicopter. They found nothing. Then firefighters joined the search, using a boat to drive Mavestir Creek About 150 students from McMurray College joined the search, too. On the third day, the entire 235-member male population of McMurray, students and staff, joined with 50 students from Jacksonville High School to help comb the area. Wow! And the newspaper, which is the Jacksonville Courier, also reported on the massive search. They covered a 6-mile radius. Because no one in bright green pajamas and bare feet was seen wandering around the town, they assumed, since the motor lodge is on the north side of town, they assumed he continued north toward farm fields. Police Chief Flynn told the newspaper, quote, "We have looked every place that has been suggested and have run out of ideas on what to do next. A fortune teller told us that Campbell was 7 miles from Jacksonville, either northeast or northwest of the city. We have even looked there." Wow, talk about desperate. A farmer was woken up the night that Bruce Campbell went missing to shouts. And that was several miles northwest of the city. And the chief said, quote, "This is one of the most baffling mysteries that has occurred here," end quote. The family refused to give up hope that he would be found alive until 1967, when he was finally declared legally dead. Mrs. Campbell passed away in 2004, never learning what had become of her husband. And after several months of unsuccessful searches, the FBI joined the show and opened its own investigation. The family had spent so much, almost all their savings on private investigators, and offered a $5,000 reward for information, which has never been collected. This has been dubbed the case of the man in the green pajamas. And Chief Flynn retired just weeks later, and Charles Runkle, who was the captain at the time, was promoted. And Flynn unfortunately died of cancer several months after he retired, so that must have been why he retired. And he would always check into the department. Any new clues? Anything? Okay, so his official missing date is April 15th. He was 6'3", 57 years old, and 160 pounds. So he was tall and lanky. He did have a slight limp. He was bald with brown eyes. He was wearing green pajamas and a wristwatch and a ring with the Delta Upsilon fraternity crest. If you have any information, you can call the Jacksonville Police Department at 217-479-4630. That's 217-479-4630. Or email JPD, let's start that over, or email JPDchief at jacksonvilleil.gov. That's JPDchief at jacksonvilleil.gov. I think he's an unidentified out there somewhere. I think that they need to put his DNA in his son's DNA in the system, and any other children or possibly siblings of his that are still alive, because I think they're going to match him to a John Doe. It was April, and it was nighttime. It might have been a little bit cold. Especially in Illinois. Wouldn't have been as cold as, say, March, but it can be. So, I wonder. And you'd think if he died of exposure that they would have found him. Unless he wandered off into a really weird place or an unused part of a farm that nobody, I don't know. I also think that, I don't think he killed himself. This mental disorientation happened very suddenly, and I don't know why that doctor didn't send him straight to the hospital. Because that could be a sign of a number of things. I realize he wasn't that old, but he was 57. Could he have had a bladder infection? Now let me explain. In an older person, usually older than that, depends on their health too, that can cause severe mental disorientation without any actual bladder symptoms. Like I said, I realized he was only 57, but we didn't know how he was medically. Could he have been bitten by an insect and caught something? You know, all those hours in the car or stopping. Because I'm sure between Northampton, Massachusetts and Illinois, they didn't drive straight through. I'm sure they stopped somewhere. You know, I'm sure they stopped a couple of times for bathroom breaks and to grab a coffee, to grab food. So is it possible that a bug bit him? I really don't know. Mosquitoes aren't real prevalent in April, but he obviously wasn't well and had never had a problem before. And he was much too old to come down with a major mental illness. So, this is physiological. I don't know, I'm not sure. And, you know what guys, before I leave you, this is the first video I've done with my new glasses on this channel. I hope you like them. I can actually see. So, thank you so much, and I will see you